Making this video just to talk about how I try to clean up a clock face. Some of the things I've learned along the way, the things that I use. So the first thing I want to say about cleaning up a clock face, Telechron clock face, there are no guarantees, none. I mean, you can ruin a clock face very easily. I've had clock faces I thought were done for, and started working on them, and they cleaned up real nice, looked like new. I have other ones that looked like they just need a little cleaning, and I got into it, and they couldn't use them. So the important thing to remember about these clock faces, they're painted on, and paint over time deteriorates. I call it dead paint. Okay, so a lot of times you have a layer of dead paint on the clock face, and if you can remove that, then you can bring the original look of the clock back. The trick is not to remove too much paint, and also not to remove any of the print, like the numerals or the design or the logo that's on there. So that's the tricky part. These clocks, the paint wears differently. You can have the same model sold the same day, but if one is kept in different conditions than another, 80 years later, the two faces can be totally different. Things in the environment like humidity, the amount of direct sunlight the face is getting, the heat, all affects the paint. So what I'm going to do is just use this. This is a face that's already gone. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get this back. Somebody before me, before I bought this clock, tried to clean it up, and what it looks like is they went too far. They maybe used something that was too abrasive, a cleaner that was too harsh, took off too much paint, and what we have is the metal exposed underneath, and there's just no way to bring that back. Now I will say this, because I think it's been the dream of many a person who's wanted to restore a clock face. Trying to get colors to match is, I've found, nearly impossible. It never looks good. It looks worse when I try to get, say this color, cream color or white color, whatever, try and put that paint on there to restore it. It just looks horrible. It looks worse than if I just left it this way. So that's something that I rarely even attempt to do. So this one is not going to be restored, and I'll tell you that my plan when I bought this was to wipe this, take all the paint off, paint it with white spray paint, a bright white spray paint, and then get another one that had a good face, and then make a water slide decal and put it on this one. And I've successfully done that. That's a whole other thing, the water slide decal thing. Another video, perhaps I'll get into some of that, but we'll just start by saying, no, don't go into this thing spraying something on here and wiping it off. That is a very bad move on a Telechron clock of this age, and you're very likely to lose the face as soon as you do that. Only liquid that I use is water, regular water, not even hot water, just out of the tap water, from the cold tap. The trick to doing this is in this product right here, which I did not discover. I learned this from somebody who does really, really awesome work. He sells on eBay sometimes these rehabilitated Telechron clocks, but I learned this from him. He told me, you've probably seen a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, okay? And using this is the best bet for cleaning up a Telechron clock face. Now, I started with this, and I would cut it into little pieces, and I noticed that they were selling this, which these are sheets, same thing, but in these thin sheets. So I went to that, and it makes it a little bit easier. Well, a lot easier, really, and a lot easier to get into tight spaces. Went to Amazon, and I got a generic type, okay, and I got a whole big stack of them for not a lot of money. So I'm all supplied up there. So the first thing that I do with a clock face is I'm going to put some water on it. And at first the water's probably not going to do anything, but as the water soaks into the paint, it will start to do something, and will start to remove the paint. Now, what I do when I start working on cleaning up a clock face is I always start out here at the edge where it's not seen. So this one is in the clock is going to be covered by the bezel, and you can see that line right there. And what I want to do is, and I'm going to start over here and see if I can show you. I'm going to put some water on there and let it kind of sink in there a little bit. But I'm going to take one of these magic eraser sheets and I'm going to cut it down, get something like this, and I'm going to fold it over. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work where it's not going to be seen. And what I'm trying to do right now is get a feel for the condition of this paint, how much it's going to take to remove it, how much is too much. If I go too far in this area, it won't matter, it won't be seen when the bezel's put back on there. So that's what I'm doing. You may be able to see a little bit of brown on there. So it's picking up some of whatever's been deposited on this clock face over time. So this is the kind of thing I'll do, and I'll just keep moving back and forth, and I'll get a feel for how the paint on this clock face is, and know how much I can push down on it, how much I can go back and forth before it's too much. Okay, so now later on, once I've got that feel, I'm going to start moving into the center. Okay, right here. And a very common thing in GE Telechron is for there to be a ring here that's caused by the oil from the rotor liquefying or mystifying and coming through there. And I've used this technique successfully to get that ring off. But like I said, there's no guarantees doing this. I've had times where I did this and I wound up with a circle that was much lighter than the rest of the clock. Okay, so I would just do this and remove that stain right there. Okay, a lot of times it's up here too. This one up here is more important than this one down here. This will be covered by the hands. So, but this one where the power indicator is, this is that window, that's going to be completely exposed. So I'd want to get that one good and clean. And to be honest with you, I don't know how clean I can get this particular face because somebody's already gone over it, and they went too far, like I said. One thing to be very careful about is the logo, General Electric or Telechron. It's really tough. Probably the toughest part is getting in there without removing the black part of the logo. Okay, it's very difficult because you can have stain inside of there and you can get it out from here, but it's very difficult to get it out from in there without wiping part of the logo off. Now, one thing I didn't want to mention is what I will do when I'm working on these is I use what's called an OptiVisor. These things are made in America and they're pretty expensive. You put them on and you see magnification, you see things, they're magnified while you're working. So I'll do that. When I get into going around the numerals, I want to be really tight with what I'm doing and not take off the original black numeral. And so I'll put on my OptiVisor. You can get an OptiVisor cheap, made in China. It's a knockoff of the OptiVisor. It works the same way, it's the same thing. And I have one of those too, but I originally had an OptiVisor, so that's around. But that's what I'm going to do when I get up to the numbers here. You can see that right, that spot of water has lifted off some of the grime. But I want to be very careful around anything that's printed on there in black or any other color because it's paint. And what I was told about this is essentially sandpaper. What I'm doing right now is I'm wet sanding this old paint, and the sandpaper is a very, very fine grit, but it's sandpaper nonetheless. And if I keep doing it, I'll go down to the metal. Eventually, that's what's going to happen. So, so this is it. It's just rubbing back and forth, avoiding things that are printed on there. Now, what I want to say is this is a great one to restore, had it not been already ruined here, because all the print on here is black. And why that's so good is one, well, if you're making a decal, it's great if it's black, because some of the G Telechron faces had colors in them like gold that your printer is not going to print. Okay, but every printer is going to print black, so that's good. But let's say that I'm working on one of the numerals here, like the 4, and I rub too much and some of the 4 gets wiped off. With it being black, I have a chance, okay, of recouping that. And these right here are the markers that I use. I got them at Walmart. They're pretty common. Okay, but the thing about these right here, why I use them, they come in all these different sizes, going down to really, really small. They're water-based. So when they first go on, they can be removed with anything that you can dip in water. And what I have and what I use, these micro tips, Hobby Supply sell these and they're really expensive, but I got these really cheap on Amazon, like a million of them for 10 bucks or whatever, came in these packets. And what I'll do if I'm touching up a number and I get some of the black ink goes over the line, I'll just, lick this and then go back and remove it. And because it's water-based, it'll come off. Then I can go again and try and get it right. If I'm using something like a Sharpie, which is not water-based, once I put that ink on there, if I screw up, it's going to stay there. I can't get it off. Okay, well, not easily. So, so that's the tip. I also got from Amazon these right here, which are very handy. They're the larger size, but they're shaped like that. So if I was to screw up something, I can go back in and basically erase, and then take my black pen, go back in and try it again. So that really is it with the clock faces. When I clean them up, I use this. I only use water. I use the magnifying so I can see exactly what I'm doing, and I try to stay off of anything that's printed on there as much as possible. And so if you're thinking about doing something like this, I want to wish you good luck. And I also want to say, if it doesn't work out, don't worry about it, man. There's other ones out there, and you can make it happen. It's the way it goes. The faces and the cases are what these clocks are all about, and the faces are just tough, man. They're just tough. So, all right.